Hi, my name is Jennifer Milnes, and I'd like to present to you today on natural family planning. A month before I was married, my husband and I had to go to a marriage class. There we were introduced to the subject of natural family planning, or NFP. I had many misconceptions about this topic before. I thought, as most people do, that people that use these methods get pregnant very fast, very easily, and overall it's just a bad idea. I've always been hear discouraging things when that was mentioned to me before, so I've always been told to stay away from it. So the idea of it have kept weighing on my mind though. It did so much that I ended up talking to a friend at church that uses NFP, and she told me how much it really helped her not only prevent pregnancy when they weren't ready to have a child, but also to be able to achieve pregnancy within about one cycle of trying, because you're able to pinpoint when you're most fertile. So I made an appointment to talk with a fertility care practitioner about starting this method. I was sold on this method for my first session. I just kept thinking, you mean I can come off of birth control, find out what health problems I've been having, and have them fixed without the hormones being pushed into my body, like with the birth control pills? And I can be able to control when we try to achieve or avoid pregnancy. The answer was yes, you can do all of those things. My journey with NFP, specifically the Creighton model system, has been really hard because I have really unpredictable cycles. But because of it, I have found out things about myself that I never knew. I found out beyond a shadow of a doubt that I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS. I am insulin resistant, and I possibly have endometriosis. I've been put on medicine and a diet that should prevent me from developing type 2 diabetes later in life, because they found out I was insulin resistant. And I'm also having surgery later this summer to find out if I have endometriosis or not, and if I do, they're going to remove it. And also I'm going to have an ovarian wedge resection. This will make my ovaries normal size because of PCOS, they're enlarged. It should put all my hormone levels back to normal because with PCOS, they're all wacky. Some are elevated, some are too low. And it should make me ovulate because they're not sure if I am right now. They think I'm possibly anovulatory, which means I'm not ovulating at all. And it should get rid of my insulin resistance. I mean, when I say that this decision has changed my life, it's an understatement. It has really saved my life. So what is natural family planning? Natural family planning is also called fertility awareness. It uses your body's natural and normal functioning to determine the days of the month you are most likely to get pregnant. There's no drugs or devices used with it, so there's no birth control pills, patches, shots, and there's no barrier methods such as condoms. It can be used to achieve and avoid pregnancy. So how does it work? The calendar, basal body temperature, and cervical mucus methods are combined to give you the awareness of when your body is most fertile. You start by becoming familiar with your menstrual cycle. You chart starting on the first day of your menstrual cycle, which is called cycle day 1. You can continue charting what you see every day, and what you chart exactly depends on the method you use, temperature or mucus. And you always chart the most fertile sign, and you definitely have to chart every single day. You start your next chart on the first day of your next menstrual cycle, so you're back to cycle day 1. So how effective is this? Well, it mostly depends on how accurately you chart. The rates vary. It goes from 75% to 99%. And it can be, the higher it is just depends on how accurately it is done, and it varies a little bit from method to method within the NFP spectrum. And how effective it is based on accuracy is just like any method. How often you take your birth control pills, how well you put on a condom, anything like that. And how much does it cost? Well, it's free to inexpensive. There are typically free introduction sessions offered in the community, and follow-up sessions range from free to about $45 per session. Materials such as a basal body temperature run you about $10 to $15, and a chart is around $8 or so. But there's also apps on your phone you can get for free. And are there any side effects? No. There are absolutely no side effects or health risk with NFP because it's a completely natural method. So I want to go a little bit further into the Creighton Model fertility care system, which is what I use. It relies upon the standardized observation and charting of biological markers that are essential to a woman's health and fertility. These biomarkers tell the couple when they are naturally fertile and infertile, allowing the couple to use the system either to achieve or to avoid pregnancy. These biomarkers also telegraph abnormalities in a woman's health. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what the Creighton Model system is. It relies heavily on your cervical mucus observations, and you have to chart your most fertile sign every day to be accurate. This method, it combines observations and charting with a new women's health science, which is called NAPRO technology, which stands for Natural Procreative Technology. That is a fertility care-based medical approach rather than a fertility control approach to family planning and gynecological health. Birth control and other methods like that tend to be a fertility control. They end up just masking the problems you're having, just putting a control on it. They're not actually caring for it and not actually helping it or fixing it. It's just masking it. And unlike common suppressive or destructive approaches, NAPRO technology works cooperatively with the procreative and gynecologic systems. When these systems function abnormally, NAPRO technology identifies the problem and cooperates with the menstrual and fertility cycles that correct the condition, maintain the human ecology, and sustain the procreative potential. So, why should you choose NFP? Well, an article by Michelle Boda outlines the top 11 reasons to try Creighton specifically, but some of these are really applied to any model of NFP. So number 1, NAPRO technology. Why not use it? I mean, it works naturally with your system, it's nothing that's going to harm you, and it's actually going to end up helping you become pregnant. Or avoid pregnancy if that's what you want, but in the long run, if you want kids, it will help you. It's affordable. Like I said before, it's either free or inexpensive for most of everything. There's no side effects. It's natural and it's eco-friendly. It's also morally acceptable. You don't have to worry about using a barrier method or birth control. Every time you have intercourse, you don't have a chance of becoming pregnant. And I know some people want that. But you should be thinking more naturally and morally that it's God's will of what happens to you. So you can use it to avoid pregnancy, the NFP models, but it's really up to God's will onto if you should be blessed with a child or not. And the same goes even if you're trying to achieve. So it really helps you avoid and achieve, but morally you feel better about it. You have increased communication. Your charting should be a shared system with your husband, and you work together, and he should be asking you what your fertile signs are and things like that. And it's really something that it's increased communication in a shared system because you have to work together to get everything done. It's very easy to learn. It's pretty effective when done accurately. Like I just said, it's a shared system. And a quote from her article for one of the reasons was, "There are possibly, I suppose, a few things my husband wishes he could change about me, but my fertility is not one of them. Your fertility is something that should be cherished. It should not be seen as a disease." So, could NFP change your life or your partner's life? Well, it certainly saved mine. But you'll never know what it does for you until you try.